What's up guys, it's Drac, and we've got a brand new 3D printed blaster here. This one's pretty cool. It came to us about 11 hours down the coast from a good new friend, Nick. Nick brought this down. It's his personal Lynx. It's got a lot of funky, fresh action going on. We'll give you a quick panorama of it while we talk over it, but this filament is a very interesting tri-blend of filament that gives it interesting dichotomy. One side looks like it's, you know, mint chocolate chip. The other side looks like it's mint vanilla. It's just a really weird combo. It gives it a really interesting character. Then the rest of the printed bits appear to be some sort of like either Galaxy or Vertigo. It's a grayish black, a light black, or a dark gray with some metallic sparkle in it. Bottom line, it looks really, really good. This hardware kit is one from Orion Blasters. I know that my buddy Ryan over at Silver Fox Industries does both full builds of this and sells the hardware kit. Now, this is held together a la Caliburn in a lot of ways, but also very different. You've got priming bars, which are I assume aluminum or steel. Then you've got hardware setting this running rail here into the plunger system. Then you have pins holding this guy together in the front as well as in the back. It appears to have less pins than a Caliburn. There's one up front and one in the back. I'm really looking forward to building one of these personally. But with all the craziness that's been going on at Foam Pro Shop, I just haven't had the time. I don't have the kit. I'd love to do the prints, but we have about 20 printers right now. Most of them are running nonstop, or they're down, in which case they need to be fixed and resume running nonstop. Nick's got a pretty cute little optic on here. I'm not entirely sure what this is. It's like some sort of Taobao red dot. It's tight, it's compact, it's pretty cute. Overall profile of the blaster is small. It's very small, and ooh, so nice. It appears that, and this is one of the advantages to printing your own stuff. Like, you could always buy something very nice from a litany of different aftermarket vendors in the space. Again, in the Lynx arena, I think that you can get them directly from Silver Fox. You can get them from Orion. I'd like to start doing an Arcane version at some point, but we are stretched really, really thin, and we need to talk to Orion anyway. But great design. Overall, I really like this grip, very comfortable. The two-part dichotomy between the back strap and the front here is quite nice. Trigger pull is comfortable, although Nick tells me that he swapped out a couple of the springs, a bit of the fiddly bits, so that this action in the back for the magazine and then this up here is maybe a little bit stiffer. But to give you an idea of how compact this is, most people at this point have gotten their hands on a Nexus with stock extended, a Nexus with no stock, and a Nexus with no stock, no muzzle is almost exactly the same length as a Lynx. So it is small, it is compact, and it's delivering significantly more performance than something like, say, a Nexus, because it's got significantly more plunger volume and can accommodate stronger, larger springs. In particular, this has, while it's an Orion hardware kit, this has a Silver Fox K25 anodized equivalent designed specifically for this platform. Nick has printed a TPU stock on the back here that's actually quite comfortable. It's a little fuzzy in some places, but we're not here to judge. What we do really like is that it's, you know, it's holding on where you want it to. And again, that grip, this is a very comfortable combination. Priming the blaster, you have to know what you're doing or you're going to hit your thumb in there, but I'm assuming that comes with muscle memory. Nick also brought me my first look at the curved Talon magazines from Worker. He says that the base plates are a little tight, so that if you're going to switch the base plates off to either lubricate or dry lube these magazines, you're going to want to be pretty careful there because the clips might break. They're certainly of a different quality of plastic, of ABS, than say these original 15s. Because of that, I would lean towards the 15s. I like the brushed finish on the plastic, and I like that they're very durable. I've chucked these across asphalt, cement, dirt, gravel, what have you. As far as priming the blaster goes, you have this little optical window here where you can see in at the feed lips of your Talon, and the arm pulls it forward. This is very similar to, like, I'm assuming, because there's nothing new under the sun, I'm assuming this works somewhat like a double rainbow system, in that the air delivery comes around and in through to the barrel. So, hey, that's pretty good. Makes an interesting little, like, it's got a very mechanical, very confidence inducing kind of action to it. It lets you know that it is chambered and seated correctly, and it's almost by virtue of either the O-rings in this kit, and there were only 3 darts in this guy, so I can get away with this without double feeding. There's like a screw with a... I gotta build one of these. I gotta build one of these. These are very cool. Anyway, when you finally seat it home, it definitely lets you know that that's where it's at, so that you can fire with pretty relative confidence. Then Nick's also added an SLA Slurpee scar to the front of this. The Slurpee scar, of course, popularized by my buddy Ton over in the West Coast. Over here on the East Coast, this one has an SLA insert and is clearly delivering the hits. Overall, a very handsome printed example of the Lynx. I've seen these in a dozen different color schemes. I'd love to do one up in my personal color scheme. I know Cybern Warrior kind of... Dude, he janked my color scheme for a really slick example of the build. I've seen shrouds for the front. I kind of like it sort of raw like this. I'd love to see anodized parts for it. Ultimately, I could see this being a bullpup pump action Springer. A lot of my favorite things. It could very easily be the kind of platform that I could fall in love with. Action in the back here is, again, everything clicks very nicely. You should be able to hear. That's pretty comfortable. And then coming forward lets you know that you're engaged. I mean, just a really clean system, very tight, very compact. I think that it's iterative and shows that, like, if a Caliburn has X pins, X hardware involved, this seems simpler in its operation in a lot of ways, and yet does a significantly more complex maneuver, getting a dart from the stock to chamber and fire through a barrel. It also kind of reduces the overall length of the blaster by stacking barrel over plunger, at least for some of its effective length. I imagine you can get more barrel in a blaster like this because of it. All of that is irrelevant, though, if it doesn't, like, seriously put up some good numbers and hit trees that are 85 to 90 feet away. And for that to happen, we're going to have to take it outside, put it over the magic number machine. Let's go. Maybe you guys will meet Nick. Alright guys, so rather than tell you all of the different nuances, Nick's played with this blaster before. He built it, he's tuned it. He says that he's got it tuned for 200 FPS. We're going to find out if 200 FPS is quite the same down here with different darts. We have a combination of Worker and Adventure Force Pro darts in this magazine. So just a couple of neat features that I noticed on the way outside. These are sling point attachments. They're actually designed in such a way that they're very strong, very sturdy. There's one here and one here, which means that you could single point it or double point it. It would be quite comfortable either way. It's also got some interesting hex built into the prints. This is in fact Galaxy Black, but these hex on these small pieces like this mean that while you're building the rest of it, you can use them to hold a nut while you torque into that nut, or just like a nice quality of life thing that if you're sitting there at your workbench and you're like, oh man, what'd I do with my hex driver? No worries, there is one. Slug for a long time did these like laser cut pieces that you could buy in addition to your hardware kit that did something similar and gave you like almost a tool on the muzzle of the blaster, but this is built into the prints themselves. Nick has a couple more features that he's going to talk about, and then he's going to explain to us what the actual FPS is over the chronograph.
Yeah, so two more really nice features. It's got the kind of Vanguard magazine system, so you can put it in, take it out without priming. It also has slam fire, which is very nice for close quarters. You can... It's pretty easy to shoot off quite rapidly, and just for the chronograph. That one didn't register.
You can get closer. You're like trying to aim at the chronograph.
Yeah, 196.
There you go.
There we go.
196 when you're actually getting your muzzle velocity.
Yep. 203. So
okay, so he's exactly where he wants to be. So how high can these go? How hot do they get?
Well, Valor has one that has 300.
Okay,
so
sure he does.
You can definitely pump it up quite a bit, but...
I said that sarcastically. I do very much believe that this system can get to 300. Super duper cool. And then I'm assuming you said that this is the Silver Fox 25. It came with the hardware from Orion, came with a different spring.
Yeah, I got the K number on it, but it's definitely weaker. It's kind of between a 788 and a regular K25.
Okay, so like 150?
Yeah, about that.
Gotcha. Do you want to explain this optic just while we've got you in it?
Well, I got it from Amazon, and it's nice. I have it sighted in, so, and this is accurate enough to actually aim with it, which is nice.
I called it Chinese optic. I love it. How's the filament?
The filament. This is from Filablend. They're entirely out of stock with everything, so good luck trying to get it.
Okay, so no Filablend for anybody else, but you did it, and the print orientation of the parts is straight up in most cases.
It basically prints like this.
Okay.
Except for the top piece here.
And so how'd you get this super wild, almost like color fade on everything?
The fill blend filament is all 3-color filament, but like kind of in parallel. So as you're printing, you get all 3 colors at once instead of a gradient like the other.
Like most of them, like the nebulas and what have you?
Yeah.
All right. So this is your go-to primary, you would say?
Point, yeah. It's really nice. I love it. I've defaulted to this whenever I can.
All right. Well, I'm really glad that you were here to share it with us. I've wanted to get my hands on one for quite a while. I definitely like it. I almost like it more than I thought I would, which is going to be a problem. So heads up, Orion, I'm going to be shooting you an email at some point in the near future. I really, really dig it. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't caught one of these already, again, links in the description box below. The designer has a site where he sells hardware kits and I think the occasional completed blasters. My buddy Ryan over at Silver Fox is clearly like in love with this system. He's designed parts specifically for it, and then he sells batch orders of them. He thinks it's like supreme, and given how quickly he sells out of those batch orders, I highly recommend following him on other social media so that you can pick it up as you go along. TPU is a great touch. Really like that. The more I use it, the more I'm into it. And that pretty much covers it. It's a bull pump action Springer that delivers the hits. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Much love. Blast on. Drac out.